Is it time to create something different with your life and your body? Right Body for You will inspire you and invite you to a different way of creating the body and the life you truly desire. Ready? Let's go. Here's your host, Donnielle.
And welcome, everyone. Welcome to Right Body for You. I am your host, Donnielle. Each week I get to talk to you about your body, about your life, and everything in between, which, you know what, one thing I've discovered over my years of working with Access Consciousness and Right Body for You, whether it's in private sessions or in the workshops or on the radio or on the telecalls, is almost everything fits between you, your life, and your body. You know, that's one of the things we really get to have fun and explore here on this radio show, Right Body for You, is the connection, the correlation between your life and your body and your life. And I don't just mean, oh, if you're pretty, then life is better for you. Or if you're healthy, this is the way it is. I'm not just talking about physical. I'm talking about the contribution that your body can be to the creation of your life and how actually your life can be a contribution to the creation of your body. You know, I've been doing this show, for over 2 years now. And, you know, first we were just doing body topics, because, well, it's called Right Body for You. Hello. And what we really discovered is that it's really hard to separate your body from your life and your life from your body. And every time I talked about your body, I also was talking about your life, and every time I talked about your life, I was talking about your body. And so really, you know, and honestly, that's one of the things, you know, I get to facilitate these Right Body for You workshops all over the world. And that is one of the things I hear most is people come up to me at the end of the 2.5-day workshop and go, Donnielle, this isn't just a body class, it's a life class. I'm like, you know what? You're right, it is. And that's why the slogan of Right Body for You, the business, is Right Body for You. It's about the creation of your life with the contribution of your body. And this is why I get to be the poster child for this. It's not just for Right Body for You. It's not just about physical changes. Does Right Body for You involve physical changes? Absolutely. Weight loss, healing, athletic ability, number of things. But it also includes using your body as the tool of awareness, the tool of information, the tool that we created it as. You know, it helps us to embody this whole reality. And I don't mean that our bodies are only embodiment is that embodiment is only our body. Embodiment is embodying this entire reality. And our body gives us information about that, helps us with that, allows us to create a life that we actually desire, and then actually also create a body that we actually desire as well. And these are some of the fun topics I get to explore each week with you all on the radio show. And, you know, most of this information, you guys, that I share with you, I've done, experienced, and continuing to use the tools for. You know, for me, that's one of the gifts of the show, is that I just get to keep, in the workshops and the private sessions, is I get to keep exploring this topic. You know, my journey with my body started with, well, yes, birth. Well, I guess that's where a lot of people's journeys with their bodies start, is birth. And then, you know, my mom was a nutritionist. She did a health talk radio show for 27 years. Radio and talking about bodies is in my blood. Literally, sometimes I may have bled a few times. That's a different story. One told over drinks and something about climbing a fence and ripping jeans at 6 o'clock on a Saturday morning. But like I said, we can talk about that one over drinks sometimes. But, you know, I had all of this experience with bodies, and I still hated the fact that I had a body. You know, I've said this before, I'll say it again. I hated the fact that I had a body. I thought it was a weak chink to my life, that life would be better without it. And I am here to tell you guys, my life is so much better that I have a body. You know, like my sweet mom used to say, and even though she doesn't have her body now, still says to me, how much of this reality would you be missing if you didn't have a body? If you think about it, quite a lot, actually. So today we're talking about the creation of your body. That the creation of your body doesn't stop. Now, as I've mentioned, I do workshops, this radio show, telecalls, and private sessions. And one thing I've encountered time and time again, and I've done it myself, you guys. Right Body for You is also a book, and in the book the first chapter is all about my story, how I went from hating that I had a body to enjoying that I have a body, and how my body shifted. I lost a lot of weight really fast. And then from there, what was interesting is I told my body to stop. Okay. I reached a size 6, and I was like, okay, stop. Become the story. Don't change. Don't change a molecule. Don't gain weight. Don't lose any more weight. Stay as you are. Stay that story. Stay that image, that idea of what everything is supposed to be like. And my body wasn't too happy with that. And this is kind of what we're exploring today, is the places we all do that, okay? How many of us have an image of what our bodies, we want them to look like? Or we have an image that we are still trying to stuff our body into, an image we're trying to get our body to, an image that we think our body should be. It's like, I want my body like it was in high school. Well, you know what? You're not in high school. And you have so much more capacity with your body now than you did then, just simply because you're stepping more and more into awareness every day. And so this is kind of what we're discussing today, is the creation of your body doesn't stop. What happens when we actually try to stop the creation of our body? Not always fun, I'll be honest. Comfortable? Yeah. Like we say in Access Consciousness, we don't promise comfort, just awareness. Well, the same can be true for this, okay? So when is your body done? Tell me, when is your body done, right? If I ask you that question straight out, your brain kind of goes, what? What, done? Like, stick a fork in me with Thanksgiving turkey and you know if it's done? What? Right? Because when we're tapping into the energy of it, your body's never done. So when I ask you a question like, when is your body done? You go, see, this is where we need the TV cameras, because I'm giving you the blank stare look. Because that's kind of what happens in your universe, in your head. When I ask you, when is your body done? You're like, I don't know what you mean by done. Exactly. Okay. When do you know if you've gotten your body right? See, that kind of question, it pulls up a different energy, because so many of us do think we have an idea of when your body is right. Your body is right at a certain size, a certain health level, a certain athletic ability, anything like that. When do you know if you've gotten your body right? See, and here's the only problem with that. Oh, somebody said, when do you know if we're done with our body? When you're dead? Nope, sorry, your body keeps changing. Your body's always changing and creating, even after death. True story. Morbid story, true story. Anyways, and so when we're trying to get our body right, that certain size, shape, health level, whatever it is, here's one of the crux of the situation. Here's that latch hook. Here's that thing that, just like yanks you back into this reality. How do you know if you've got something right? What do you use to know if you've gotten something right? That's right. That's right. Judgment. You use judgment to see if you got it right or wrong. Trying to get your body right puts you and your body in a continual state of judgment, a continual state of up and down, a continual state of actually fighting with your body, with this reality, with possibility. a continual fight against change and actually creation itself, because you judge as what you've created is right, enough, not good enough. It's like, well, yesterday I was good, today I was bad. You know what? Yesterday I had chocolate cake for breakfast, I was bad. So today I'm going to be even better. Oh, good, I had eggs, and then I'm going to have a salad. Good. See, I'm being better today because yesterday I was bad. Judgment, 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 judgment. With a side of judgment. And then for dessert, you get judgment. And don't forget to wash it down with a nice big glass of judgment, right? It's all that is judgment. So when you ask, how do you know, or when do you know if you've gotten your body right? Here's the other part of that. Besides the judgment that you're using to know if you got it right or wrong, the other part of this is when you try to get your body right, you never actually can get your body right. Okay? Bear with me for a second. May cross your eyes a little bit, but here we go. You can't, when you're trying to get your body right, you can't ever actually get your body right, okay? You're using judgment to tell if it's right or wrong. And you're also defining your very existence, your motivation, your essence for being into getting your body right. Okay, so this is where we're really cute, and this is where we really have to look at the energy around this, okay? If you've defined your existence, your motivation, your impetus to getting your body right, you will ever let your body be right, because then it negates everything that you are trying to be or achieve. If we've defined ourselves, our lives, and yes, this doesn't just have to do with bodies, it also has to do with everything else. When you are on that journey, who are you? I'm a journeyer. I'm a seeker. I am this. Then to know who you be, to have that comfort level, you will always be seeking, journeying, or trying to get it right. Okay? So to keep you who you are, who you've defined yourself as, you will never let yourself get it right, because then you won't be on the right journey that you've already decided you are. I know. Few of you are cross-eyed. I get it. It's a little bit of a freaky concept. But we're going to take a quick little break. But during the break, look at this just a little bit. We'll talk more about it. Don't worry. I'm not going to leave you cross-eyed. Your bodies don't necessarily like it. I don't know. Some of your bodies may like being cross-eyed. Different question. But if you weren't striving to get your body right, what could you be? Who could you be? And how could you be with your body? If you weren't striving to get your body right, what could you be? Who could you be? And what could you be with your body? And how can you be with your body? Okay? We're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about this question, creation of your body, getting it right, not getting it right, judgment, all that kind of fun stuff, right? Right? Okay. All right. This is Donnielle. You're listening to Right Body for You. We are on Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back.
The life and the body you secretly hope for is possible. Somewhere you know that, right? What if creating that body and life is not about deprivation and sacrifice? Would you be willing to choose it? What if it could be as simple as changing how you look at things? Right Body for You with Donnielle is a different kind of radio show. Each week, Donnielle invites you to you. She shares simple tools that you can use immediately to create changes in your body and your life. Something different begins now. Listen for Right Body for You every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
What if there's nothing wrong with you? What if you're far greater than you've ever given yourself credit for? What if it's time to know the gift and the contribution you are to the world and to like yourself a lot more? Hi, my name is Dane here. 13 years ago, I started to truly ask questions. Actually, I started to be the question, and everything changed for me. Asking questions opens doors to infinite possibilities. And it's not about finding the answer. It's about being the question. Always. What I'm inviting you to step into is something that Einstein, Marie Curie, Newton, Da Vinci, Gandhi, Picasso, and Aristotle all knew to be true. What if no question is too big or too small? What if anything is possible for you? What if together we could create a kinder, gentler, happier world? Is now the time? Go to beingyouclass.com and sign up for a free video series, My Gift to You. beingyouclass.com. What if you, truly being you, are the gift and change this world requires? beingyouclass.com.
This is Right Body for You with Donnielle. To participate in the program today, please call toll-free in the U.S. 815-880-8255 or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. If you'd like to email a question, please send it to Donnielle@accessconsciousness.com. Now, back to the program.
And welcome back to Right Body for You. I am your host, or as some people say, the voice in your head. I have more than one person walk up and go, I hear you in my head all the time. I'm like, sorry? Anyways, I am your host, Donnielle. Welcome back to Right Body for You. Speaking of being the voice in your head, if you would like to see the voice that goes with the body, please do check out Right Body for You workshops. They're all over the world. I am heading into the time of the rest of the year when I have classes almost monthly. I'm pretty excited. This month is in Edmonton, Canada, and I am so excited, you guys, for this series of classes. For the first time in Access and Right Body for You history, we're doing a series of classes, meaning we are going to do the Right Body for You 2.5-day workshop, then the Right Body for You Taster Facilitator training, should you wish to become a Taster Facilitator and facilitate Right Body for You intros all over or wherever you'd like. And then we're going to do a facelift class, and then we're doing the Access Consciousness 3-day body class. And this is the first time in Access and Right Body for You history the classes are being done like this, you guys. This is the first time in history that the classes will be taught by the same person, me, and the first time it's really back-to-back like this, which I'm very excited about. Because one of the things I hear about Access Consciousness 3-day body class is after people have done the Right Body for You workshop, they tell me, I wish I had done the Right Body for You workshop before the 3-day body class because I know I can receive more. Because part of what Right Body for You, the radio show, the workshop, the book, everything is truly about is getting you to receive information from your body, receive information or receive money, receive lust, receive anything without judgment, receive healing, receive information on how to actually change things, okay? You guys, this is one of the reasons I go on and on about receiving and judgment. But receiving is, if you're receiving, if you're not willing to receive, it's not just about money. Not receiving is not just about dating. Not receiving is not just about job opportunities or anything like that. Not receiving is also about you ask a question, body, what would it take to change this? You have to be willing to receive the awareness or information that your body is telling you, okay? Think about that for a second. Receiving is not just about money, dating, jobs. It's also about receiving the information to the questions you ask, okay? And so you want to ask, so that's one of the things I love about this radio show and the workshops is it really does help you to receive without thought, without judgment, but just receive information and know what to do, where to go, what's required, and all of that kind of fun stuff in between. So if you want to join us in Canada, as my good friend Leah has said, anything that's going on with your body, hello, this series of classes in Canada in the next few weeks will assist with it. So please do check it out. You can go to Donnielle.com, DONNIELLE.com. The classes start on May 19th. You can do all of them. You can do some of them, whatever you would like. Check them out. Donnielle.com, DONNIELLE. Okay. So today we're talking about the creation of your body. Well, truthfully, I talk about the creation of your body every day, but today we're specifically in your face talking about creation of your body, okay? So before the break, I fried your brains, made your the eyes roll in your head a little bit with the question of, if you're defining yourself as always trying to get your body right, how right will you actually allow you to get your body? Because you don't know who you'd be once you get your body right. And really what's interesting is at the basis of this, it's like, well, I know who I am as this, so I'm going to stay as this, because then I know who I be. I know what I am. I know what I'm supposed to do. I know what I'm striving for. And that's why I talk about the motivation part of it also. If you're constantly asking your body to be right, to motivate, to create your life, to create your body, is you're using this motivation as getting your body right, then you will always be trying to get your body right, because then that's your motivation. And you know it keeps you moving. So if you get your body right, well, crap, then I have to find something else to motivate me, or figure out who I be, or actually look at something that I'm not wanting to be looking at, because as long as I'm striving to get my body right, then I don't have to look at anything else. Yeah, that feels comfortable. That I'll just do that. Okay. Everything that brings up surrender and credit. Right, wrong, all night, interest, boys and beyond. Which is part of the access consciousness verbal processing, because as you know, or you don't know, let me tell you, Right Body for You is a part and division of access consciousness. Access consciousness is a set of tools and techniques to help you change anything. And Right Body for You is the focus on the body. Okay? Communication with the change of it, the enjoyment of the creation of it. Creation of it. Okay? All right, so that was the access consciousness verbal processing. You want to learn more, you can go to theclearingstatement.com and read and watch to your heart's content. Okay. What happened? Okay, so is there a time when we stop creating our bodies? Nope. That's the end. Creation of your body never stops. Yet we get sometimes we get our bodies to a point and then we ask them to not change. This is what I did. I got to a size 6 and went, okay, stop, because it was made a story. Okay? Literally, it was put in a book. And I was like, okay, stop. Don't change. No, don't change, because then you're not going to be your story anymore. How many stories are we trying to create our bodies from, maintain our bodies from? Yeah, just 1 or 2,000. How can we create without change? Okay, you can't. Change and creation go hand in hand. Okay, it's connected, partial together. So what does constant creation of our bodies look like? All right, because we do this. How many, honestly, take a look at this. How many of you have gotten your body to a place where you go, don't stop, don't change, don't change, don't change, don't get worse, don't get better, just, this is it, this is perfection, I'm going to stand right here and never change again? Well, here's the problem. Even just the act of breathing, you're changing your molecules. Okay? Just taking a deep breath, you're changing your molecules. You can't actually stop your body from changing. So it's interesting that when we do this, we go into that resistance, that weird energetic flip of uncomfortableness because we're asking our body not to change. Stop, stop, no, stop, 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 no, stop. So what happens when we try to stop our body from changing? We get in conflict with our body because your body has no point of view. And your body is willing to give you everything you ask for. Asking it to stop is confusing to your body. Does your body actually know what stopping looks like? And I'm not talking about you're running down the street and then you stop. Okay? But does your body actually know what it is to stop creating it? No. Your body is in a constant state of creation. Okay? So here's one of the other interesting things that comes up a lot in my classes and sessions and things like that is, let me ask you all a question, those of you in the chat room, those of you listening now, in the past, or in the future. At what age did you stop creating your body? This always kind of brings up some interesting answers. And, I'm looking for that crazy mind answer, the first thing that pops into your head. Some people say 2. Some people say 16. Somebody in the chat room said 17. Some say 20-something. And sorry, somebody in the chat room said, been there, done that, bought a T-shirt a size bigger than expected. Right, that's that whole don't get worse aspect as well. Okay, so what's interesting about this, what age did we stop creating our bodies, is it tends to be somewhere before 30, okay? This is just a broad generalization, but it does tend to be early on, okay? Why is that? Why do we hear that those answers of 5, 17, 16, 24, things like that? Well, look at what this reality tells us, okay? And then we're going to go off to another quick little break. But look what this reality tells us. You're born, your body grows, you grow up, you become an adult. You go through puberty, growth spurts, all of this kind of fun stuff. This is when this is the creation of your body, when your body changes heights, when your body fills out. I mean, I don't mean fill out fat-wise, I mean fill out like as in you get muscles and your bones grow, things like that, right? These are the times of creation of your body. They may not call it the creation of your body, but it's implied. That's the energy there. This is when we're creating our bodies. You're born, you grow up, you go through puberty, so you have childhood, teenagehood, finally somewhere you get to an adulthood. Carol, sorry, when do I become an adult? I'm not talking behavioral, Carol. We've never become an adult behavioral. But medically, there is all of these guides and limits to... oh, by the way, Carol's not a voice in my head. She was in the chat room. But we have these medical terms, these guidelines, these deadlines, these measurements that tell us when our body reaches the state of it's created. Boom, welcome to your body, it's created. Childhood is over, puberty is over, and now what do we have to look forward to? Death. And how much do we spend the rest of our lives not trying to, and not creating our body, but trying to maintain our body and avoid death? Okay? How much of our lives are spent, first part, small part, creation of our body, because this is what we're told in this reality. And then from there, it's the maintenance and the avoidance of death. How much of what we go through every day is trying to avoid death or trying to avoid the inevitable destruction and decay of our bodies into death? I was having some conversations with people recently, and they started asking me questions because we're all about the same age, right? And I've known them a long time. And so they started asking me questions like, have you started forgetting things like yet? I'm like, have I started forgetting things yet? And they're like, yeah, so-and-so is already starting to forget this or that, whatever, and, and aging and whatever, and this is what's happening. And I'm like, holy crap. How much do we have? We get born, we grow up, we create our bodies, and then it reaches that counterpoint, that pinnacle where it's all downhill from there. And then it's have to fight the fight to keep from decaying and dying. Okay. We're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about this, about how we have been told that creation of our body stops. And then it's just about maintaining and avoiding the death, the decay, and the inevitable destruction of our bodies. Okay? On that cheery note, this is Donnielle. You're listening to Right Body for You on Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back.
The life and the body you secretly hope for is possible. Somewhere you know that, right? What if creating that body and life is not about deprivation and sacrifice? Would you be willing to choose it? What if it could be as simple as changing how you look at things? Right Body for You with Donnielle is a different kind of radio show. Each week, Donnielle invites you to you. She shares simple tools that you can use immediately to create changes in your body and your life. Something different begins now. Listen for Right Body for You every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that when run assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
This is Right Body for You with Donnielle. To participate in the program today, please call toll-free in the U.S. 815-880-8255 or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. If you'd like to email a question, please send it to Donnielle at accessconsciousness.com. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back to Right Body for You. I am your host, Donnielle. Thank you for tuning in today. Today we're talking about the creation of your body, the fact that creation of your body doesn't stop, even though we have been told that it does, okay? I mean, I can't imagine there's a lot of actual conversations on there going, oh, well, wow, you know what? Today, mark the day, March 3rd, 1991 is when my body stopped being created and I tipped over to the downhill slide. My body has now reached adulthood. And now everything else is downhill from there. And here's the other thing is we seem to have bought that the destruction and decay of our bodies is inevitable, unchangeable, going to happen. The only thing we can do is fight it. As somebody put in the chat room, fight the good fight. Okay? fight the good fight and do what we can to age gracefully, or do what we can to not age gracefully, but have that resistance, have that conquering over death. Isn't that an interesting energy that comes up? Conquering. Well, I am conquering this. That conquering death, how many people over society and the world culturally have gone to winning over death, whether it be through computers, spirituality, or anything about this. Okay. Wow. That brings up a whole big, interesting topic. But really, how much of our bodies do we spend to avoid the destruction of our bodies? And avoiding the destruction of your bodies is not creation of your bodies. The number of times I've heard people say, I need to lose weight because I'm pre-diabetic, or I need to lose weight because I'm getting older and it's going to be harder to lose weight. I need to start exercising now to keep my joints lubricated so I can bend still. Or like we were talking about earlier, that forgetfulness, it's inevitable. Better get used to it. And somebody else said to me recently they had a hard time standing up for some reason, and they're like, oh, well, that starts that. And I'm like, excuse me? They're like, well, I always knew the day would come when I would have a hard time getting up one time, and then from there it's just you have a hard time getting up every time, because that's what happens. You age, you old, you die. Well, here's the funny part about this, you guys. Technically, all of that stuff that we're scared of is also creating your body. And why I bring this up is I'm inviting you to the awareness that you're always creating your body. How would you like to create your body? What choices would you like to have? What choices would you like to choose from? What would you like to choose in the creation of your body? Do you want to create from the destruction of it? Do you want to create from the fun and the joy of it? Do you want to create from something that we don't even necessarily have the words for yet? What would you like to create as your body? Because you're always creating your body. I swear. I promise. I don't promise much, but I do promise this. You are always creating your body. So how much alignment and agreement and resistance and reaction? Because remember, it's only resistance and reaction and alignment and agreement. It's the same thing. Alignment, agreement, resistance, reaction, the same thing. Two sides, same concept. How much have we aligned and agreed and resisted and reacted to what this reality tells us our bodies is like? You're born, you grow, you reach adulthood, and then it's downhill from there. Okay? So all of you creators out there of the birth and life, death cycle, would you guys be willing to destroy it and create that, please? Cool. Right, wrong, good, bad, Papa, night, church, boys, man. And anywhere, any lifetime, past, present, future, where it was the status quo, anywhere it was the what's that called? The first I'm sorry, I can't think of the words right now. But the energy there. It's like, the first model of bodies. First model of bodies off of the belt, right? It's like, oh, we're going to create bodies. We're infinite beings. We're going to create bodies. We're going to have fun for this. Oh, and you know what else would be fun with these bodies? What if we did something called life, birth, death, and all of those things in between? Wouldn't that be fun? And then we got stuck into this cycle. Everything that is destroyed, uncreate it, please. Right, wrong, good, bad, Papa, night shorts, boys, and beyond. I'm just trying to read the chat room a little bit here. Don't let death win. Very popular point of view. Yes, it is. So am I now just, okay, so here's a question. This forgetful stuff is driving me crazy lately. My sister told me get used to it and learn to make lists. I've been podpocking it with the excess verbal processing ever since. She's like, am I now just creating resistance and screwing myself just differently? Such a cute question. See, this is why I talk about resistance and reaction, alignment and agreement with this as well. Because it's like you can only resist anything you've already aligned and agreed with is inevitable, will come true. Okay? Because I know a lot of us listening to this show have already shifted a lot of these points of view. Some of us have, some of us haven't. But what I really want you to look at is because all of us are having this conversation with people because not all of our friends or family are doing the same things and using the same tools we are. Okay? Not for a difference or separation, just from the awareness of where we're functioning from. And so like all these people I was talking to recently, and they talked about the inevitability of aging, okay? And so this is what I'm talking about with your question. If we look at it and go, well, screw that, that's not happening to me. Any resistance in that? Screw that, that's not happening. Or you can say the exact same thing with like, well, screw that, that's not happening. But it has different energy to it, okay? One has an energy of resistance. And remember, you can only resist what you've already aligned and agreed with is inevitable. That's the only thing that gives resistance its platform, is you are resisting what you've already agreed will occur. If you don't agree that it will occur, there's nothing to resist to. Okay? So as you guys are going about talking to people and looking and talking about bodies, look, are you having a resistance to this? If you are, podpoc everywhere you've bought it is real and true, the only choice and the only possibility. If it's just not a part of your reality, good on you. Okay? Because a lot of this changes. And again, it's not necessarily about the words you're saying. It's about the energy behind it. You can be saying the exact same thing, and one person will be resisting, and one person will be like, wow, I can't even imagine that. You know, like when I gave the example earlier of this person asking me, have you already started forgetting? I was like, huh? And I don't mean huh, as in I forgot what she said. But I was like, wow. That wasn't even in my universe that forgetting would be a possibility. And I'm like, no. Mm-mm. And it wasn't like, no, I'm not forgetting. It was like, no, actually, that's just nowhere in my universe. Cool. Now let's talk about eyesight. People talk about, oh, yeah, your eyesight fails as you go on and you get older, right? Now, if I was to say, no, that's not happening, I have a little resistance to it, especially as I push the glasses up on my face. See what I'm saying? Same words. No. When it's talking about the forgetting, I'm like, no, I don't know. Mm-mm. And then eyesight gets worse as you get older. No. A little bit of a difference in energy there, right? I'm talking about me personally. I know I have a little bit of resistance against the eyesight getting worse. I'm podpocking it. I'm asking questions. And here's the fun thing about this, you guys, is just having the awareness of what's going on, so much can shift and change things, okay? Because one of the things I love about these radio shows and classes is I get to work on it stuff too, okay? So how much change of your body are you resisting? Okay? Everything that is times a gazillion, destroy and uncreate it, please. Right, wrong, good, bad, Papaka, nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. All right, we're going to take our last little break. When we come back, give you a couple questions and things you can do, because trust me, folks, it's not all downhill. All right? This is Donnielle. This is Right Body for You on Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back.
The life and the body you secretly hope for is possible. Somewhere you know that, right? What if creating that body and life is not about deprivation and sacrifice? Would you be willing to choose it? What if it could be as simple as changing how you look at things? Right Body for You with Donnielle is a different kind of radio show. Each week, Donnielle invites you to you. She shares simple tools that you can use immediately to create changes in your body and your life. Something different begins now. Listen for Right Body for You every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Hey everybody, this is Dr. Dane here, and I would like to invite you to an adventure in being. I've just written and finished a new book known as Being You, Changing the World. Are you one of those dreamers? One of those people who's always known that other possibilities should be available but haven't yet been able to see them be created? Well, I wrote this book for you. In it, you'll find tools, processes, and unique perspectives to change the things you've always wanted to change but didn't know how. In it, you'll find an invitation to a different possibility for a way that we can be in this world that changes not only our lives, but by being us, allows us to contribute to changing everything planet-wide that doesn't work. Are you aware that truly great people, truly being them, is the only thing that has ever created a great change on this planet? Are you willing to step up? Are you willing to be one? Check out a copy of my new book, Being You, Changing the World. I invite you to go to beingyoubook.com for a free gift.
This is Right Body for You with Donnielle. To participate in the program today, please call toll-free in the U.S. 815-880-8255 or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. If you'd like to email a question, please send it to Donnielle@accessconsciousness.com. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back to Right Body for You. I am Donnielle. At least today I answer to Donnielle. I have a few names. But thank you for joining me today, in the past or in the future or present. We all know time isn't real and we get to play with it all over the place. All right, so today we're talking about the constant creation of your body, that it doesn't actually stop. We're using different words to talk about it, but it doesn't actually stop. We may call it the destruction, the decay, but it is a creation. So what if you could create your body instead of resist your body? Okay. So I promised you a couple of questions. Won't leave you high and dry. Some of the things you can do to help create your body instead of the happenstance or accident or just fighting this reality creation of your body is questions, right? So here's some. Am I creating my body or trying to maintain my body? Okay. Am I creating my body or trying to maintain my body? And again, this isn't to make you, any of this, never to make you wrong or to put you in judgment of you. It's really to help you just become aware of where you're functioning from so that you can actually create the changes that you're asking for, okay? And then here's another one. Ask your body every day for everything. I know you guys have heard me say this before, and you'll hear me say it again, I swear. But ask your body everything for everything every day, all right? Simple example, coffee. Just because your body wanted coffee yesterday doesn't mean your body wants coffee today. This is what I am always saying about being in communion and conversation with your body, and that it never stops, okay? Part of the creation of your body is that conversation never stops, that communion with your body never stops, okay? So you really do want to ask your body every day for everything, whether it's where you want to sit, how you want to sit, who you want to shag, who you don't want to shag. You know, I actually ask my body, do you want to work in the office today or shall we work on the couch when I'm home? Those few days of the week I'm home, or month, year that I'm home. So you want to ask your body for everything, not just the food and clothes, but also everything every day. Don't assume that just because it worked yesterday, it's going to work today. Okay? All right. Then, am I in resistance here? is another question. And again, not for self-flagellation or judgment, just for the awareness of it. And then if you aren't in resistance, cool, have a good day, carry on. And if you are in resistance, POD everything you've ever aligned and agreed with. And not only that, but everything you have been taught that changes it. Okay? Because this is part of the resistance and reaction to it. It's not just like, I'm not resisting and reacting anymore. It's like, cool, that's one layer. But it's also you're resisting to everything you've been taught that can change it, can't change it, should change it. So it's multi-layered. So if you find out you are in resistance of it, you really also want to POD everything you've been taught about and around what is possible or not possible with it, okay? Because it's just the beginning, folks. And, I hope you enjoyed the show. Really, I always talk about creation of bodies, but I really wanted to just really be upfront and blunt with this. It's like your body is always constantly shifting and changing. We may call it the decay, the destruction, the avoidance of death, but your body is actually always changing. And I'm inviting you to have more awareness, more presence with that change and not like grow old gracefully. That's not what I'm talking about. What if growing old wasn't even a certainty? If you are more present with your body in the creation of it every day, asking questions, being present with it, you and your body will create your body as you would be fun for you, as you would like to see. Okay? And that does start with a continual conversation with your body, communion with your body. Okay? And if you're a little lost and like, I don't think I can do this on my own, come join me in a Right Body for You workshop. They are going to be all over the world. We have them in Canada, Rome, London, Vienna, somewhere else. Sorry, the schedule's not in front of me. But they are all over the world. Please do find the time to join us. We have so much fun in this. We go into depth into communication with your body, conversation with your body, creation of your body, not judgment, the energy behind words, sex, pain, earth. I don't know if I said money, but money. We really get into depth about the creation of your life with the contribution of your body. Yes, I did say London. I love London. And this month is Edmonton, Canada, where we're doing the Right Body for You workshop, the Taster Facilitator training, then the facelift class, and then the 3-day body access consciousness 3-day body class. So please do come check it out. Donnielle.com, DONNIELLE.com for more information. And I'm doing the schedule of the Right Body for You and the 3-day body class in May in Edmonton and then November in London, which both are some of my very favorite areas, so I can't wait to play in them. And Canada's this month. Welcome. Come join us. It's never too late to show up. We always have fun. If you haven't figured it out, I like laughing. It's one of my body's favorite things to do, and that's one of the gifts of Right Body for You and having fun with it is that we get to laugh. We get to not take it so seriously, and then in that, change is actually possible. So check it out. Donnielle.com, DONNIELLE. And until next week, have a good week, a fun week. Enjoy your body because it's enjoying you. I hope to see you and hug your body somewhere near in the future. Until then, everyone, have fun. Thanks.
Thank you for listening to Right Body for You. Donnielle will return next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you and your body will join us. Until then, have fun.